All our dear students, in this lecture, we are going to talk about the non-current asset. And within the non-current asset, we are going to talk about the tangible non-current asset. So remember when we started the accounting, we talked about the assets. And the assets were the resources where the entity is having the control, and the control means the risks and rewards, the decision making pertaining to that assets. So resources which are being controlled by the entity and from which the future economic benefits are probable. So it is probable that the economic benefits will flow to the entity. So it is expected, it is probable that the economic benefit will flow to the entity. And the last thing is that the cost can be reliably measured. So assets are the resources where the entity is having the control from which the future economic benefits are probable. That means economic benefits will flow to the entity and the cost can be reliably measured. Then we discussed, broadly speaking, the two types of assets. We discussed the two types of assets, and those were the current assets and the non-current assets. The current assets and the non-current assets. Then within the current assets, we discussed that these assets are the liquid assets. These assets are the liquid assets, and they are easily convertible into the cash. And the economic benefit is realized within 12 months. Like, for example, you talk about the receivable, usually we recover the receivable within 12 months. You talk about the bank and the cash, you can cash it whenever you need. For example, cash in bank, you just go to the bank or send someone, you can take out the money you're wishing for. Similarly, the inventory is being usually sold within 12 months. So the current assets are the liquid assets where the economic benefit can be realized within 12 months. Now, when we discuss the non-current assets, we discussed that, okay, that these are the assets where the life or the benefit is more than 1 year. The benefit or the life is more than 1 year. Then these assets are not sold within the ordinary activity of the business. Like, we do sell them when there's a need. For example, we need to change them or they're getting old, we want to buy some new asset, eco-friendly, environmental friendly, technologically advanced. We do buy the assets and we sell them, but it is not the ordinary activity of the business. For example, if you go to the furniture shop, the ordinary activity is to sell the furniture. But for example, if you're having an office where you're having office chair, for example, table, that is not being sold within the ordinary activity of the business. So not sold in the ordinary activity of the business. And the last point was that the economic benefits are generated through use rather than sale. That you use those assets. For example, you use the machinery in order to do the production, you do the assembly lines for manufacturing or assembling. So the plant and machinery. So economic benefits are generated through use rather than being sold. So asset is where we are having the control and future economic benefits are probable. And then the cost can be reliably measured because something which we cannot assign the value cannot be called as an asset. And then the current assets, the liquid assets, where the economic benefit is generated, is realized within 12 months. and then we have the non-current assets. Okay, now, having said that, we are moving further in the detail of these tangible non-current assets. Now, what are the tangible non-current assets? So we are talking about now the tangible non-current asset. We have already discussed this component, which is the non-current asset. The three attributes: benefit of the life is more than 1 year, and these are not sold within the ordinary activity of the business, and we generate the revenue or the economic benefit through use rather than the sale. The tangible means the assets having the physical existence. The tangible assets are the assets having the physical existence. Now, what are these type of assets? So there is basically a classification which we can simply study and we can relate it then to the assets. So it says these are the tangible non-current assets which are held for. These are the tangible non-current assets which are held for. Now, held for what? These are held for the production, the use in the production. For example, you have the machinery, and then the supply of goods or services. For example, you have the vehicles, supply of goods or services and services. Then we have rental to others. Rental to others. For example, you're doing a business of rent a car or rent a bus. For example, you need some institution need the buses for their educational trips, recreational trips, and they contact your company and you provide, for example, the buses, the coasters on rent. So rental to others, in that case, the buses you provide on rent are your non-current asset, the tangible non-current assets. So these are the assets used for the production, for example, machinery, supply of goods or services. For example, we have the vehicles, the rental to others, and then we have administrative purposes. Now, what is this administrative thing? For example, you have the printers, you have the scanners, even the fixture and fittings. So production, supply of goods or services, rental to others, sorry, and then we have the administrative ones. Sorry. So these are the tangible non-current assets. So examples we have already discussed, we can even just write it down. So for example, production, in which for production we have, let's assume, the machinery. For example, the plant and machinery, not the one, for example, producing the leaves. We are not talking about that plants. So it is for, the production, manufacturing. We have the assembly lines where the assembling is being done. The supply of goods or services, for example, we have the vehicles, the rental to us, for example, rent a car, let's assume, rent a sound system, let's assume you're giving to some like parties and marriages, let's assume. And then we have the administrative things, for example, we have the laptops, for example, we have the printers, etc. So the assets which are for business use, like for example, if you sell the laptops, then it is not your non-current asset, that is your inventory. For example, you sell the printers, that is your inventory. And it's not the non-current assets. So the laptops you're using for business, the printers you're using in the business, the rent a car is your business. It's your ordinary activity of the business. Where you are just renting a car. So production, supply of goods or services, rental to others, and then we have the administrative things. Okay, now let's talk about the measurement. Let's talk about the measurement. Like the asset is something where you can assign the value. So how we are going to measure it? So in the measurement, we have two sorts of measurement. But first we talk about the initial measurement. First, we are going to talk about the initial measurement. Now, remember one thing, that the initial measurement is done at cost. Initial measurement is done at cost. Now, what is cost? So the cost thing is the cost of purchase. And if there are any discounts, you're going to deduct from it. For example, the trade discounts. So the cost of purchase, it should be the net amount deducting the discounts. So the cost of purchase, and then we have any direct cost. So any direct cost to bring the asset in the working condition. So initial measurement is done at cost. The cost includes the cost of purchase less discounts, and any direct cost to bring the asset in the working condition. For example, in the cost of purchase, let's assume you have the materials, and or for example, a semi-assembled product, for example, or for example, a machinery which you have purchased, and then any direct cost to bring the asset in the working condition. Now, what is this any direct cost to bring the asset in the working condition? For example, you have the installation. For example, you have the site preparation. Like, for example, if you want to install the machine and initially you prepare the site for it, so site preparation, even the site clearance, once you dismantle that asset. And for example, then we have other things in it like delivery cost. Even like, for example, the professional fee, for example, the non-refundable duties, because the one which are refundable does not make part of the cost of the assets. So non-refundable duties, for example, the taxes, customs, and then non-refundable duties, then we have the testing fee, one-off testing fee. For example, you are testing the asset before using it. So you're calling someone, a professional, let's assume, to test it. So one-off testing fee, etc. So this is the initial measurement is done at cost, the cost of purchase, and then any direct cost to bring the asset in the working condition. And then we have the details of these costs. But there are some exclusions as well. The exclusions. The exclusion means they will not become part of the cost of asset. These will not be included in the cost of asset. These are not going to be included within the cost of the asset. Okay, what are exactly these things? So these things, for example, are the administrative or general overheads, which like you cannot allocate directly to the non-current assets. So administrative or general overheads, which are being incurred irrespective of the asset being purchased. And then we have the refundable duties because they are refunded. So you cannot make that thing part of the cost of the assets, the refundable duties. And then, for example, we have, the other things, let's assume, yes, initial operating losses. For example, you're using the asset and it has not achieved the expected efficiency yet. In the initial years or months, it is producing a loss. So you basically think that, okay, this loss is part of a learning, so it should be capitalized as well. No, initial operating losses cannot be capitalized. When I say capitalized, that means it is not made part of the cost of the asset. And then we have the training fee, for example, to train your employees how to use the assets. So you believe it's a direct cost because once the employees are not trained, they cannot use the asset. But yes, training costs cannot be capitalized because, employees may leave, employees may get insane. So yes, we cannot capitalize it. Now, when we cannot capitalize it, So these costs, administrative and general overheads, initial operating losses, training fee. I'm not talking about the refundable duties because they are refundable, so that is recorded as an asset receivable. But other than these are expensed out. So when they are not capitalized, these are being expensed out. So when we say expensed out, that simply means it is recorded as an expense within the statement of profit or loss. So debit profit or loss recorded as an expense, and credit cash. This is the double entry to record the expense. So the things which are not capitalized are expensed out, and the one on the right hand side, installation side preparation, that become part of the cost of the asset. So they are being capitalized.